Hey friends, it's Mr. Jim and welcome back to Kids Animal Stories. Have you signed up for your free Critter Protector badge? Yeah, we wanted to make these Critter Protector badges so that we can send them to you in the mail for free so that you can for real be on the Critter Protector team. That means if you love critters of all shapes and sizes, we're going to work together to protect them both around the world and in our backyards. Well, friends, are you ready for part 2 of this adventure? Me too, let's go! Charles had just dove into a pile of rocks after feeling a sharp beak peck right on the top of his head. The bird had flown so close to him he felt the wind from its wings, and out of the corner of its eye he saw sharp talons. He was in serious danger, but it's a good thing he dove into those rocks because that would keep him safe. The bird landed right in front of where he was hiding. "Hello there, dinner. Friend. I can see you can't quite fit in there and your tail is poking out and made it very easy for me to come find you." He was right. Charles's tail was sticking out of the pile of rocks that he dove into. It wasn't quite deep enough for him to pull his whole body in there, and some of his tail was poking out. "Don't mind me. I'm just gonna grab onto your tail and pull you on out so we can have a conversation about supper time." The bird's beak grabbed onto Charles's tail and started to pull. Charles was scared, but he knew exactly what to do. He puffed up his body really big, filled it up with air. And do you know what that did? Yeah, so he was in this crevice of all these little rocks. And if he blew himself up kind of like a balloon, it wedged himself in there. And remember that very rough sandpaper skin of his? Yes, that helped secure him against the rock. So as hard as the bird could pull on his tail, Charles the Chuckwalla was not budging an inch. "Come on now. Why do you gotta be so difficult here? Oh, there's gonna be a much easier dinner for me somewhere else. All right, buddy. I'll see you next time." The red-tailed hawk flew away, giving up after realizing there was no use in him pulling anymore because that lizard was not moving an inch. As Charles turned himself around in that crevice of the rocks, he looked out and watched as the red-tailed hawk flew away. He looked down and couldn't believe how high he had climbed. It all happened so fast that Charles just scurried up to the nearest crevice, but it was actually very high up. And it gave him a thought. What if I'm a climber? Like, what if the thing I'm good at is climbing? Unfortunately, he did not get to enjoy his new revelation because he looked up and saw that the sun was setting and it was, "I'm gonna be late! I gotta get home!" screamed Charles as he ran as fast as he could, which was a lot faster than normal. That practice the other day, I think it did help him get faster. He saw his mother waiting up ahead. "Charles, we were so worried," his mother said as she ran towards him. "I'm sorry, Mom. This red-tailed hawk, it tried to get me. But don't worry, I'm okay." She gave Charles a big hug and said, "How did you get away from that red-tailed hawk? They're such fast flyers." "Well, I saw a crevice up in some rocks and climbed really fast and hid inside of that crevice and it tried to pull me out, but I puffed up my skin and yeah, it all just kind of worked out." His mother laughed. "You know, Charles, we haven't ever talked about those things, but climbing and fitting into rocks like that is one of our defense mechanisms. They're skills that critters like us have. But it's definitely time for dinner. Come on inside." As Charles walked inside and had dinner, he was very happy to be back home with his family. But later that night, he thought long and hard about the past couple days.
about how he had tried all those different things that it just didn't go so well. But climbing, maybe that was what he was meant to do. Climbing. The next day, Charles had a new pep in his step. He had a new sense of confidence and a new thing that he was going to try. He was on his way to see Louis, Sean, and Amari, all of his friends, and just before reaching Amari's home, he came across a new sign that had been put on the billboard in the city. Climbing Club starting Monday. Need climbers. Charles' eyes got so big, he couldn't believe it. There's a climbing club? He said. That sounds perfect. Charles couldn't believe what he was seeing, and it's such the perfect moment. He looked at the location, make sure, and soaked in all the details on the flyer. Practice at 3 p.m. sharp near the boulders. All right, I'm gonna be there. I think that is what I'm going to do. That afternoon, Charles and his friends talked about each of their sports, and Charles happily shared his excitement for the climbing club. They all agreed that they thought Charles would be a great climber, especially after he told them the story about getting away from that red-tailed hawk. Holy smokes, that was a close one. But because of his climbing, he was able to squeeze into that little place and hide from that red-tailed hawk. And so just remember, it never hurts to try new things. But nothing beats the feeling of finding what makes you shine. And I think Charles has found just that in climbing boulders. This may be the end of our story, but it is only just the beginning of the amazing climbing adventures that lie ahead for Charles the Chuckwalla. The end. Great job, you listened all the way to the end. Wow, wasn't that a great adventure? Yeah, I'm so glad that Charles the Chuckwalla was able to find his super awesome skill that he's good at. I wonder what you are good at. Maybe you're fast or good at jumping or good at climbing, or maybe you're a great reader or good at math. There's so many different things to be really good at and have fun with. So this week I want you to try something new and do something that you're really good at. Well, friends, I hope you have a super duper day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!